This is why I call Jamaica my land of opportunity. Absolutely nowhere in the world is perfect, and Jamaica, for sure, is not the exception. If you're new here, hi, my name is Flor. I am Cuban and I have been living in Jamaica for 22 years. I am right now standing in front of one of my eco cabins in the Blue Mountain side of Portland, Jamaica. This is a bedroom, two bathroom with the pool in the back, totally off-grid cabin. This is just one of the thousands reasons why I consider Jamaica my land of opportunity. Before I get boasting about all the goodness that Jamaica has to offer, I have to tell you who me be, where me come from, and how me ended up. Yes, sir. Wait. But before I get talking about all the goodness that Jamaica has to offer, I have to tell you who I am, where I come from, and how I ended up here. I always tell you the patois just kick in and the tuan can't manage it. I was born and raised in Cuba, and I came to Jamaica when I just turned 20 years old. By then, I have only been married to my husband for 1 year. We were all very young and had nothing. If you have ever met a Cuban in your life, they probably told you that they left the island because of hardship, because things hard. You will never understand the situation in Cuba unless you visit Cuba, unless you stay there for a few weeks living as a Cuban. And even as a tourist, you will notice the difference. It is not like your typical country that you will go on vacation to. Unlike all the Cuban people that you have met, I did not leave Cuba because of hardship or hard situation. Not because I left better than anybody else, but because I met my husband in Cuba. I fell in love with him, and it was time for him to return to Jamaica. And I just decided to follow my heart and follow him to come to this magnificent island that surprised me from the moment I touched down up to this moment that I'm standing right here talking to you. I will never forget my uncle's expression when I told him that I was leaving Cuba and going to Jamaica. He said to me, "You're going to Jamaica? For what? What are you going to do in Jamaica?" Like in a despective way. And I said, "Well, I am going to Jamaica because my love, my beloved, is from there. And I am prepared for whatever is it that this island has in store for me." And let me tell you, it was not all a bed of roses. And I invite you to watch my content related into how I came here and how everything played out. Nowhere in the world is perfect. There are places that may not have violence, but they have scarcity of natural resources. And Jamaica is all the contrary. And although things in Cuba were really hard, I never grew up or had the intentions of leaving Cuba looking for a better life. Up to the year before I met my husband, when people used to ask me if I will leave Cuba, I would tell them no. I will only leave Cuba like professionally because I was a professional dancer. And if my dance company happened to be going on a dance tour or whatever, I was okay with traveling and visiting other countries. But I always look forward to living my entire life and spending the rest of my life in Cuba. So I want you to keep this in mind, because usually when we hear people talking about migration or leaving their country, making a living in another country, they come from a point of looking for better, looking to do better, having an ambition, wanting to do business, wanting to do better for their future generations. But in this case, I was 19 years old when I married my husband, and the only ambition that I had was to spend the rest of my life with him, whether he wanted to be in Cuba, whether he wanted to be in Jamaica, whether he wanted to be in the North Pole. I will be with him. That was the only thing that I wanted. So I want you to keep that in mind so that you have an understanding. One of the things that I want to get across with this video is a motto that I have used throughout my life, and it is to don't focus on what you want, but make the best of what you have right now. 22 years ago, 2003, when I arrived at this beautiful land of wood and water. Me couldn't even say water. I could not speak one word in English. And if you're wondering how I communicated with my husband while we were in Cuba, it was a mixture of Spanglish and Patois and Panpatwachish and hand signals and I guess love language. Immediately, I went on a mission to learn English. And boy, I tell you, my husband good, because I asked him if it was a good idea for me to attend English school. And he said, no, you are going to learn English on your own. And up to today, 22 years later, that is my main superpower. This that you hear right here, whatever you see writing, whatever ideas you see me bring to life, it has all come from self-education. I taught myself to speak, read, and write English. I have never attended English school. I just learned on the go. And I assume for a lot of immigrants, especially here in Jamaica, it has probably been the same. And this is why you will find a lot of people from other countries living here in Jamaica that speak like Jamaicans and they have a mixture of their native language and a patois accent. And the reason why we will have this heavy, for at least for me, the reason why I will have this heavy patois accent, the reason why it is so difficult for me to twan is because the patois is very similar to Spanish in a way the words are pronounced. It feels way more comfortable and just runs off your tongue. So throughout this video, you may hear me code switch and it is very hard to know if you speak patois. It is very difficult to not speak patois because, as I said, it just rolls off of your tongue. So as a young woman, 19 years old, arrived in Jamaica, could not speak any English, couldn't write any English, couldn't understand people around her. How did I make it? How did I get to where I am today? And where am I today? If you're new to the channel, you probably don't know this, but my husband and I, we own together Island Eyewear, which is one of the biggest eyewear chain companies in Jamaica. We also have these beautiful 20 acres land in the middle of the Blue Mountains side of Portland. And we have multiple cabins that we share with the world through Airbnb. And this is only the two ventures that I'm going to talk to you about in this video because the other businesses are solely his. These are the ones that I am mainly involved in. And I just wanted to get inspired. I want you to appreciate more what you have, wherever it is that you are in the world, by sharing my story. And even with all of that, I don't consider myself a businesswoman. I just give all the credit to my husband, and whatever is it that he wants to achieve in life, I am there to support him. For now, I am supporting him by running Island Eyewear and the Airbnb. And you're probably thinking, but wait a minute, I don't see you in no office setting and no eyewear setting or anything like that. Yes, I am in the Airbnb area, but this is another thing about life. You can set yourself to do multiple things. I don't want you to be scared if you are in a place now that is not ideal. You will get there. And most of the times, you will get to a higher place in life that you didn't even dreamt or plan for. And that is exactly where I am right now. Right now, I am living my dream. I was growing up in Cuba. I had no shoes. I had no food. I had no power. I had a lot of love. I had one of the most happy childhoods. Like the nicest, sweetest memories of my life are of my childhood. Although I had none of the materialistic things that one will need or want in life growing up. And I had no desire for any of those things. I had no dreams for any of those things. I only had one desire and one dream, and that was to find love, be loved, and find a forest just like those in the movies. Because although I come from rural Cuba, I come from country in Cuba, we did not have a forest. Unfortunately, Cuba has suffered a lot of deforestation throughout the years. A lot of our forests were cut down to accommodate cane fields and other forms of agriculture, and we suffer a lot from this. Up to this day, Cuba is suffering from the consequences of deforestation through plagues that invade citrus trees and any other sort of crop that you try to grow, whether at home or in a bigger scale. But here in Jamaica, Father God, but here in Jamaica, no such thing. I have been able to grow my own food right here in Portland without the assistance of any pesticides, nothing like that. I just throw down the seeds and the food just grow and you get to pick it, and I'm still not over it. It is unbelievable to be surrounded by so much free food that is so clean and healthy, that grows wild without any effort. That to me is the ultimate opportunity. And don't get me wrong, I have done all the other stuff as well. I did the work, the hard working. I did the building a company from the ground up. I have lived in the United States for a few years. I returned to Jamaica, did another business in Jamaica that is now closed down, continue growing island eyewear, develop this land with my husband, created the Airbnb. And up to this day, now that I get to reflect, think, I have come to the realization that being here in nature, growing our own food, picking our own herbs to make our tea, just being one with nature, living in boar houses is what have brought the bigger fulfillment to my heart. This is what has closed the circle of achieving and getting to where we wanted to be in life. It is unbelievable how it is just like how the song says, the simple things are your blessings. It wasn't until I started my YouTube channel after being on social media for whew, way over a decade, that I saw the need to share information such as this, because as an immigrant living in Jamaica, I can give you my perspective from both points of view. One, as a Cuban living in Cuba, not having any ambition or desire of living that suffering, because whatever suffering you think that you are experiencing in Jamaica, unless you are being a victim of a violence, does not compare to the suffering that a Cuban experiences, had experienced, and is experiencing right now. It does not compare. And I can also give you my perspective as somebody who came from those conditions and was able to live and make a life right here. Of course, I did not do it on my own. Would I have done the same type of achievement of the grand results if I was on my own? For sure not, because I am not that ambitious. I don't have those grand desires, but my husband does, and I am just an extension of him. I say, wherever you go, I follow. You want to do this business, I'll help you. You want to do that, I'm there for you. I will always support you. I will always be your support. I want to talk to Jamaicans that want to leave Jamaica and go to another country. And I want to talk to you who are anywhere in the world and is considering leaving your country. I want you to look at everything that you have and make a list of all the positive that your country has to offer and all the negatives that your country has as well. Because as I said, nowhere is perfect. Absolutely nowhere is perfect. And then just weigh them and see if it really makes sense to leave or if you can do much better with what you have. A lot of times we have so much abundance around us, but we are so blinded by the desire of the things that we want, by the dream of the greener grass on the other side, that we fail to see all the bounty, all the richness that is around us. And one thing I can tell you after reading hundreds of comments on my off grid living videos, especially by Jamaicans who left Jamaica and live in England, Canada, United States. Many of these Jamaicans in my comments have left in the 80s, 90s, and some have left even more recently. And they question the reason why they left, and they cannot wait until they return. So I know that, of course, everybody doesn't have the same opportunities here. I think it's because it's very easy to get distracted by the possibility of having it easier in another country, that we fail to work hard and focus and achieve the same goals that we would achieve by leaving our land and traveling to somewhere where it's gray, cold, and dark, and we're going to be looking down on, discriminated on, versus staying here and helping our fellow Jamaican or helping the people in your country, because this is not something that happens to Jamaicans alone. And let me tell you, sometimes it even happens to Cubans, because I know of many Cubans who have returned to Cubans. It's Cubans who left Cuba just like me, without an intention or looking for a better living or anything like that, and they have decided to return to Cuba and live in Cuba instead. Because let me tell you, life as an immigrant, it's hard. Life as an immigrant is hard. Sometimes years will pass. I mean, up to this day, it's a constant battle of trying to have that sense of belonging, of being part, of integrating yourself in the culture, of being just part of that society, that new society in that new country that opened their arms up to you and that have given you all these possibilities. I just had a deja vu, so this video was definitely meant to be. But coupled with those comments of the desire of returning to the homeland, Jamaica, I also see those who are a little bit more resentful that I am here and that I am living this type of life, and point out the fact, which I have been talking to you about, on how many Jamaicans decide to leave, and then you have outsiders that come here and are able to do life. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about this? Is it fair that many locals decide to leave all of this behind and move to the big cities and go to the developed world, while others from other countries come here and start businesses and learn a new language and are able to access the beautiful, luscious lands of this island? If you visit Jamaica and you go to Kingston, one of the things that you're going to notice, and even other people from other Caribbean islands have noticed this, the amount of brand name vehicles that are on the road. Lamborghini, Porsche, BMW to Stun Dog. So obviously, something is something, like how Jamaicans love to say. There is something going on here that it just exudes prosperity. And you're probably saying, but Flor, it's not everybody who has a business mind. It's not everybody who can start a business. It's not everybody who has a capital to start a business. Well, I am standing right here right now because I want to show you. This is my children's project. And this is something that we did during that period where everybody had to be locked up in their house and couldn't go nowhere. And I still have a lot of social media friends who bought trees from me during that time. So we used to, and we still do, every time we eat a fruit, we save the seeds. You buy any fruits on the roadside, you save the seed and you throw it on the ground, because Jamaican soil, fertile, subtle. anything that you drop on ground grow. Like the amount of food that they're right beside me right now is unbelievable. We save every single seed. Right now, because we're here in Portland and we have the land, I just throw them in the yard. Just come out of the kitchen. You see me in my videos. Come out of the kitchen door and just throw them out there just like that. Simple. And we have countless Aki, OTT apple, and even cocoa trees. And all of these for free. The bags don't cost much money. Fill it up with dirt, put the plants in there, and within a year or less, you have plants that you can sell anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 Jamaican dollars, and boom, you have a legit business. So all it takes is time, passion, and dedication. And you can even achieve this if you have a 9 to 5. You just have to know how to budget and do your thing. Any questions that you may have about my life transition, how everything play out, anything that I have left out in this video, and I will do a Q&A 2 weeks from now. I'm so excited already. When I tell you that I have found the best of both worlds right here in Jamaica, it's an understatement. This is part of the river that runs through our land. This is part. The biggest part I am yet to show you, so you have to make sure you subscribe so when I drop that video, you're the first one to see it. We have done the business and we are enjoying the lifestyle. Not much Janga here. Oh no, they're still too young. But this is one of my favorite things to do, which is to just set the trap and get some free river shrimps. These guys are way too young still, although some people would eat them, but not my favorite to consume them when they are in this stage. So I prefer to set back the trap and wait for better. Live another day. I know that for many people, this doesn't mean much or hardly anything, but for me, this is heaven and the angel they must sing. Because growing up in Cuba, both of the towns that I grew up in had rivers, but I couldn't do that in other river, and I could only go to the river during summer times because Cuba has a colder weather than Jamaica. It gets way colder in the winter time than in Jamaica, and the water was never so transparent. To be able to visit the river that had the transparent waters, I will have to go to another town, which was either between 6 kilometers to 10 kilometers away. And in my mom's town, it was about 4 kilometers away. And we will have to walk because obviously there was no transportation. Even something as simple as that a lot of Jamaicans take for granted, transportation, we did not have in Cuba. Now things are a little bit more comfortable, but back then growing up in Cuba, we had to walk, go everywhere because there was no transportation. The river is something that many people will not be able to achieve. Many people don't have an interest in, but I'm just showing you that anything that you want in life, you can achieve where you are, whether you're in Jamaica or anywhere else in the world. But for me, this beautiful land, Jamaica, has granted me countless opportunities. Here, I have been able to grow. It has helped me to grow within the community. It had helped me to learn the culture, integrate myself within the culture, and achieve my dreams. It may seem silly to many, it may seem impossible to most, but I guess this is what my life is about. Doing the impossible, achieving the impossible, and doing the most things with the least. If you want to fascinate my business more, if you want to learn more about my business, I'm gonna be leaving all the links in the description box down below. including the Airbnb, Island I Wear, and my husband company. And if you want to learn more in detail, all the different challenges that I faced when I moved to Jamaica, how I got my citizenship, why I left Cuba, how I made it here, I'm also going to be leaving the link to that playlist in the description box down below. As one great Jamaican artist said one time, can't tell you to stay, can't tell you to go, oh, oh. I cannot tell you to stay, I cannot tell you to go. But I really hope that this video was the one video that you needed to watch to help you decide whether to stay or whether to go. Just keep in mind that all the information that I have shared with you today has been based on my experience and opinions. Absolutely nowhere in the world is perfect, and Jamaica for sure is not the exception. I want you to know that there is a peaceful, fulfilling life that can be found in Jamaica. Not in Kingston, not in a town, but in the countryside, in the bushes, in nature, where the smaller communities are, where the most peaceful, quiet moments await. And if you made it this far in the video, me want uno to go in the comment section and address them people there who never made it to this section here and cuss me off already and say me go back to my yard. Because me not go back to my yard. Me tired for them to send me back to my yard and me not go back to my yard. And they saw me yard there, me not go nowhere. Thank you so much for watching. Mashallah.